This complete gospel book on earth is in Ethiopia. Abba Garima, who is one of the 9 saints, created an Orthodox church in Ethiopia in the 6th. The Ethiopian church was built by King Maskell. The church is called Abba Garima Monastery. Inside the monastery were 2 Garima Gospels. Had a manuscript that was used in the year 500. Judging by the year the manuscript was composed, it's been noted by historians that this is the oldest and most complete gospel that didn't originate from Ethiopia. History has it that he migrated to Ethiopia from Syria in 494. His arrival in Ethiopia didn't come in silence, as his name was soon spread like wildfire. Abba Garima, who was a Christian, began to befall the people back him. He healed the sick and turned the people to Christians. During this time, history reported that Abba Garima started writing and completed the Gospel book. History also revealed that the Garima Gospel was written in a single day. One question is, how is that possible? It was said that the sun refused to set until the book was complete. This was believed to be a sign that God loved Abba Garima. One report states that the images, symbols, and writings were that of Egyptian. This isn't an issue as the book has now been translated. One interesting thing to note is that this book is full of mysteries.
I wanted to state really quickly that it is known. Grand Rising says, hey, I think nobody's really in here. Grand is to my sis. Real quick, I want to note that they just said that this happened, and when he wrote the book, it was 2 days that the sun did not, have activity. It is known, there's been some studies that show that around the time of the early times, around 400 BC, all these times, when the Ethiopian Bible was written, the first Bible was written, so on and so forth. As you heard them say, it was 2 days that the sun had no activity. There's actually proof in trees. They've done studies on trees and the year, and there's a time frame within the rings of the tree that show that there was 2 long years of some inactivity of the sun. I may get into that or not, but there's some more things that are a little more important I think I'm going to talk to you guys about real quick, but let's get into the rest of this video.
Apart from the fact that the book could be regarded as the first version of bookbinding, the book has withstood a lot of tragedies and environmental disaster. Some of these are fires and invasions. The Abba Garima Monastery Church was engulfed in fire in the year 1930 and badly damaged the building. Interestingly though, the book didn't go down with the flames. This has caused some to suggest that the book is protected by God. It's currently displayed inside a glass case in the monastery church in Ethiopia. Another interesting discovery is that of a book made of human skin. This book can be found at Harvard University. Over the years, some mysterious books have been discovered. One of the most mysterious ones goes by the name of Destinies of the Soul. Researchers have said that it's been housed at the library since the 1930s. It's said that Dr. Booland was given the book by a friend. It's then reported that he was a patient. Further studies have suggested that the patient passed away from natural causes. Bill Lane, who is the director of the Harvard Spectrometry, said the following: "The analytical data makes it very unlikely the source could be than human. It's the outside of this book that makes it unique. It was always assumed that this book had human skin on it, but over the years, researchers have debunked some of these books, saying that instead of human skin, it's actually animal skin. This one, however, was confirmed by experts. It's not just this book that's been found at Harvard Library. It turns out that employees came across books that had strange covers. They described the books as having a smooth feeling and being a little shiny, the less shiny. It turns out though that scientists wanted to confirm what these books are made of, and they decided to carry out a series of tests. After receiving the results, the scientists concluded with 99.9% confidence that the binding material came from a human. It turns out that after some research, these bound skin books were popular in the 17th century. They were most commonly found on anatomical textbooks. It's all didn't want to waste any material they were working with, so instead of things going to waste, they used them for things like books. Researchers said the books are about Roman poetry, French philosophy, and medieval Spanish law. Harvard then decided to get all of the books tested, and it turns out that one of them was bound in human skin. Harvard's library isn't the only place where these types of books have been discovered. They can be found all over the world. However, they're not getting negative attention, as it's not something many have come across. As mentioned though, going back, it wasn't uncommon for people to do this to books. Various 19th century accounts exist that state executed criminals were donated to science, meaning some of their skins would have ended up on books. The last book revolves around that of the paranormal. For years now, stories have been told about the paranormal, and even today people are allegedly
otherworldly beings.
Now, when you're thinking about this, right? And when it comes to the book being bound by human flesh, think of the ritualistic aspect of these particular book bindings. So, when you're thinking about the blood, the flesh, these things are what actually are used to be in tune with nature. So, if there were people that were murdered or killed or so on and so forth, their bodies being used, you heard them say the criminals, they would be donated to science. So if their bodies were donated to science, with them being donated to science, this all comes about a ritualistic aspect of the flesh and the blood in the book binding. This is very important. Pay attention.
One interesting story details a monk who had to make the ultimate sacrifice to finish a book. Throughout human history, there have been many that have claimed to fight against the devil himself, and won, ultimately securing their faith in their beliefs of a divine power. Interestingly, there appears to be just as many stories in which people divulge their sudden success in wealth and power, and credit it to that of selling their souls and making a deal with the devil. Although at first the individual appears to reap the rewards, their fate is ultimately sealed when they sign away their life. Although this sounds outlandish, there have allegedly been many people that have made deals with the devil in the hopes of bettering themselves. Individuals have started to pay a debt or perform an incredible feat, and this is exactly what this person did. One of the most well-known stories concerning that of a person making a deal with the devil is the existence of the fabled Codex Gigas. The Codex Gigas, also referred to as the Devil's Bible, was supposedly written by the devil himself after a desperate monk summoned him in exchange for his life. According to the legend, back in 2013 AD, a monastery in Bohemia that made up the monks of the Black Cloth, a radical Christian group, starvation, isolation, and self-mutilation, accepted the terms outlined by one monk who promised to write the greatest book in a single night. The reason for this promise was due to the fact that the monk of the monastery had broken such a sacred rule of their monastery that the sin itself was covered up. After the other monks had covenanted, they decided that the punishment for the monk would be to wall him up alive, essentially trapping him into a mausoleum. This led the monk to quickly promise the monastery that he could earn redemption by crafting the largest book that held all of human knowledge, including medicine, information on herbs, as well as the entire Bible in only one. The monastery agreed to this outlandish promise on the basis of making with the monk. They would allow him a chance at redemption if he could create the book in one night, but that if he regardless, to the monk working throughout the night in a moment of panic, gathering all of the supplies necessary and binding the massive book before realizing it would be humanly impossible to complete the task. At the stroke of midnight, desperation, he performed a dark ritual and summoned the devil himself. He promised the devil his soul if the devil would use his supernatural powers to create a book and save him from death. The devil accepted and wrote the entire book in a single night, fulfilling the promise and saving the life of the monk. Interestingly, in the modern day, when experts took the time to look over the book, they found overwhelming evidence that the entire book was written by a single author in an incredibly short amount of time. The expected amount of time to work on such a massive book was expected to be more than a single author's lifetime. However, the entire piece has a consistent style of writing of which is only possible to accomplish by having a lone author, using the same type of ink made in the same way, as is common with books with a single author, and has an entire page of a drawing of the devil as a reference to the credit of the author. The eerie drawing has caused some to speculate the story is true, and that the devil drew his self-image in order to prove he was the real author of the book. So what do you make of these mysterious books? Be sure to leave your questions and answers in the comment section below, and help us to grow this community whilst working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.
And Ethiopia is where we get the Pan-African colors, or the Pan-African colors are in Ethiopia. This is a country that, however you look at it, it's either the country that got its nation first, or it's a country that was never colonized because it was occupied, but not completely colonized. It was occupied by Italy. Ethiopia is the world. It's mentioned in the Bible. And when it's mentioned in the Bible, it's crucial to understand that Ethiopia refers to Africa. Ethiopians are Africans. Ethiopians are Africans. Africans are Ethiopians. Everyone in Africa is an Ethiopian. This is why we have the same flag, like with these colors, like the green, the red, the gold. These are the Ethiopian colors. To be Ethiopian, or to be Ethiopian, because it's an understanding. Just like having Zion. Doesn't mean that you're physically in a certain city made by God. It's an understanding. It's an agreement. It is going through dominion and territory. So Ethiopia is a place that anywhere. This is Jamaica is Ethiopia. The people in Jamaica are Ethiopians. People in Africa, the Negroes, so-called Negroes, they're Ethiopians. So Ethiopia is a generic term that is used for all Africans. And this is how it's applied in the Bible. So when the Bible is speaking of this place called Ethiopia, it's speaking of a place where the people called Nubians. These means gold. So this is the places of gold. And Nubian also means just black skinned. These people were burnt skinned. So all of the Ethiopians were black people. So back in the day, to get an understanding of this, if back in the day, if I were to go to Germany, right? Germany didn't exist then. But then if I were to go to Germany, They'll just say, "Hey, check out that Ethiopian dude." So Ethiopian is just referring to these people, and people who come from a certain continent. Continent, of course, you have types of people. So it's just like how you'd see like European people as being the same, but Irish is different, but they're all European. So this is the Ethiopian understanding of it. Ethiopians are Africans. So Ethiopia was the first utopia. Ethiopians actually encompass also these Egyptians. So all of the land was just referred to as Ethiopia, just like it's referred to as Ethiopia. But if you think of like England, UK, Britain, these are different, but they're the same. Okay, so the first utopians were these people who had this understanding, and they were able to. They came to Africa. They used to learn from these Nubians, to learn from these burned-skinned people. So this happened for thousands of years, but slave trade happened. The thing is, the Bible was used as a means to enslave the people's minds. So when as it happened is that like the people came with this idea, this ideology, in order to get people to be subjected to them according to the principles that they were interpreting in the Bible. So one of the reasons that they justified the slave trade was to say that Africans are not human because they are the sons of because they're the sons of Ham. So Ham, if there's a story in the Bible where Noah is drunk, and then one of his sons apparently, in a mystery, uncovers his nakedness. So people believe that Ham slept with Noah's wife or did something of, and then had a curse. Curse was put on his son called Canaan. So Canaan is Cain, Cain and Abel. This is where the curse is. This is the person who was cursed in the beginning. But anyhow, Canaan went and settled in the Middle East, while the other sons of Ham. So Ham had 4 sons. Ham had 4 sons, and these ones came. The 3 sons came in Africa. The 1 son stayed in the Middle East, and these are the Canaanites. And when you're referring to the Canaanites, you're referring to them. So when slave trade happens, it was actually based on this biblical principle that was saying that since these people were cursed by Ham, then they're supposed to be our slaves. So you have to understand that this happened 400 years ago, and now it's time to set the people free. It's been 400 years of slavery. So it's now time to leave that paradigm. It's now time to leave those being building in the minds of the people, these hiding with this false ideology. It's now time to leave that, go through another Red Sea, go through, everyone comes out of the water, how the Israelites came out of the water. So it's been 400 years since they've enslaved a whole nation. And it's up to us if we want another 400 years of this type of slavery. So it's just about understanding that the truth is in the Bible, but when you know the truth is in reality, that Ethiopia was literally the first utopia. They were developing engineering, they were developing science, they were developing engineering, technology, mathematics, astrology, everything. And these things are what we still use today. So believe it or not, it's weird, but these things this is the holy grail of Western society, of Western civilization. Things that were discovered thousands of years ago by Ethiopians. So these Ethiopians, as I said, these people of this continent, Africa, it's actually called Ethiopia. That's the thing. Africa is the name of a conqueror, a Roman general who was Scipio Africanus. Africanus, who defeated Hannibal. When he defeated Hannibal, Africa took its name. And there was also another Greek person who used to sign his letters. Like, he used to research Africa, and people believe that this was a black Greek because the first Greeks were black. But anyhow, Africanus. So he used to write his name after his letter Africanus. So this is also where this name is derived. But the word for it was Ethiopia. So Ethiopia is referring to the skin of the people. Ethiops were people who were blonde, and these people were renowned for their tradition and their skills and learning. So understanding that because 400 years is a long time to be a slave, to be trapped, you're bound to lose your humanity when people treat you as being subhuman. I was watching so many documentaries about how people view Africans, and it's actually the prevailing point of view that European media wants to postulate the fact that Africans are so subhuman, as if the problems that they caused in Africa are not the fruits that we see today. That a person would come into a country and just say that, hey, this land is now mine, and I'm going to kill everybody who is living in this area, and we are going to be slaves, and we're going to start building with your labor. And as if that's not enough, other people are going to be like, all right, now we're going to go to this city, we're going to raid it, and all of these people are going to go and live in America as slaves. And they wouldn't just take like just this skinny little dude, but they'll take the strongest, bind them, whip them, beat for years under servitude. And some of these people were actually kings. Some of these people were royalty, nobles, wise men. But if you were a person of wisdom, they would kill you. So many Ethiopians were murdered, Nubians were murdered because of their knowledge, because this was war, it was a conquest. So if you justify this as war, then this is so barbaric that they would say that we're giving them this word of God, we're giving them the understanding of God, but let's first kill them, and let's kill the barbaric, and that's something that was ingrained in the people's mind, something that I still see with my own eyes today, that people still have not left that colonialist mentality, because they believe what they were told, that they were nothing. So when the Bible, this is a book that was used for a certain purpose in order to trap people, because it's that powerful. When you look at it, when you look in the Bible, when you look at Makeda, Sheba means wisdom, the queen of wisdom. So this is why she was looking for wisdom. She went to find Solomon, who has them, but she also had wise questions to ask. So queen, and she went there, and she actually used to reign in a certain place that was adjacent to, like, that is on the Red Sea, which is the kingdom of Aksum. Today it's Eritrea and Somalia and a little bit of Ethiopia, because these were just lands, no borders. And in the Middle East, because this is how I used to roll, kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Oman, and Yemen. This was Aksum. So we know that it was big. This is how she was just able to travel north and then to go and see Solomon. So through this, she was actually through the Red Sea. Ethiopia was actually controlling trade in the whole Asia, which was also linked with the European and Western countries. This is actually the Silk Road. The original Silk Road is the Ethiopian trade routes. So if you look at the Ethiopian flag right now, it has this star. This star is what they want to recreate as the Silk Road in terms of China, but this is originally Ethiopian. So they had all of this wealth and this control of this trade for this now. So for anyone to through the Mediterranean to go to Spain and Europe and stuff, you'd have to go through Egypt for a shorter route, unless if you want to go around the world. So it's so important for Aksum. So Aksum was dominant in commerce and in all of the international transactions. It was able to interact and to trade with different countries all over the world. So it was a major city in its time, and it was one of the most renowned cities in its time. This is kingdom, sorry, not cities. Aksum was a kingdom, and this was the place where Christianity actually started within the African continent. That the first people who were converted into Christianity were this kingdom of Aksum, which is in Eritrea, and this spelt over to Ethiopia. And today, Ethiopia has the oldest churches in the oldest Bible in the world, which is called the Ethiopian Bible for some reason, but should just be called the Bible. But it has the old Bible, and it has the biggest Bible, by the way, and it has the understanding of the scripture because they were able to actually transcribe all of the scriptures into a language, an African language. An African language. This is important to understand that they'll tell you that in Africa they didn't have language, communication skills, literally. They have G script and they translate the Bible, which is not an easy task because what you're doing is you're translating this in terms of meaning, resonance, and metrics versus our metric compositions of words. So you need to have the understanding of numbers and words and letters and resonance and all of these things. So they translated the Bible into G script, and so many countries in Africa actually had their own language, like Cameroon had their own alphabets, like literally all of them, because these people were Ethiopians. So an Ethiopian is a person who is referred to as being of black skin with woolly hair, right? So this is not something that is in one country, but the reason why everyone is Ethiopian is because Ethiopia is not conquered, and Ethiopia, or was not conquered. This is standing of what Haile Selassie did and fought through. This is the hypocrisy of the League of Nations and of the UN that was exposed through his reign, because this is these he was fighting against. Mussolini actually went to Ethiopia, anything about it. They were really just saying that, all right, it's bad, but they didn't do anything about it. This is one of the reasons why the League of Nations didn't work. Haile Selassie. So Ethiopia was a major key party in the whole world. Haile Selassie was an actual emperor who traveled like over 100 countries in the world, and his name means the one with the power of the Trinity. So Ethiopia has one of the oldest churches, Ethiopia. So when you read the Bible, when you look at the book of Acts, you're gonna discover or come across the story of Philip. Philip is in an area, he's healing people, he's raising paralyzed people. Can they go to the desert area, and you're gonna see someone there. He a desert, and then he sees someone who works in a kingdom, right? A eunuch. So he's in a court, and he's a person of wisdom, obviously. So he's actually in Israel. He's traveling the world. He's an Ethiopian, a black person, and he's actually in a chariot. So he's actually a person of riches and of wealth. But what's important is he's actually reading, or oh yeah, he's actually reading. He didn't know that people from Africa could read, right? But this is like the same year that Jesus died. So this is 2,000 years ago. So just Jesus has just died. Philip is in the Holy Spirit, and this guy is already reading a scroll of Isaiah that he got. So first thing, he's rich. Okay, he's a eunuch, so there's a kingdom somewhere, because there is an actual queen mentioned in his kingdom. So he's part of that regime. So he's with other black people because he's being escorted by these people, and he speaks to Philip, and he gets baptized in the process, and the story goes on. So this happens in the New Testament, right? In the Old Testament, we all know the story of Solomon and how the Queen of Sheba went to him. So she was an African woman, an African. So meaning that there was already this kingdom, there was already a queen of wisdom. She was the wisest person before he came. That's why she had to see if the wisdom was true. So she was renowned for her abilities, because this is back in the day when women didn't have the status, but she had this queen status. Anyhow, she creates this offspring, like with have a child, and this child ends up being Menelik, who ends up being a great, and then Solomon is the descendant, is the father. Haile Selassie is Menelik, and through Solomon. This is the understanding of the how Haile Selassie came about, and that was his claim to the throne and all of that. So one thing to understand is they are roots of Christianity all over Africa. So the missionaries came with a Bible with a certain false dogma, according to them, which was intended to. Africa was not actually to be evangelized. There was already evidence of Christianity within African continent. So within the African territories. So through Aksum, this is where the Queen of Sheba was. Through Ethiopia, this is where the eunuch met Philip. So this eunuch is already reading. This eunuch already has the possession. The scroll of Isaiah is already in his possession. So these people are already reading these things. This is how they're able to like have the G script Bible. They have their own Bible, the oldest Bible, the biggest Bible, oldest churches in the world. Okay, so this is, and if you even look further down in Zimbabwe, there's actually a tribe. Not a lot of people know this, but there's actually a tribe of true Hebrew Jews who claim that they came with the Ark of the Covenant. They're actually hiding it. That's why people don't know about them, because they have their secrets. They are actually the people who live in Zim. This is in the heart of Southern Africa. These people are Jewish. They're called they are Chilemba. So they're actually the people who are associated with the areas like the Great Zimbabwe. They're associated with them. So they actually married into those families when they came from Israel. And these people are black, right? Obviously, they're black. So all of these, and in Ethiopia, you also have Hebrew Jews that live in Ethiopia. Some of them live in Israel and all over the world. So all of these people had this understanding of Christianity, and they could read, they could write, they could reason. And works in a court, and he's already reading this. So just the thing to understand is what Philip asked him, and this is the whole point of this video. The question is, do you understand the book of Isaiah? When Philip approached him, he asked him, do you understand what you're reading? So the same thing is he was reading the book of Isaiah. The book of Isaiah is so important because this is the book that Jesus was quoting most of the time. So do you understand this book? Because this book is the key to understand happening in this world. So the book of Isaiah is speaking about how the people are deluded, how the people in this world have been lied to. This is why Philip asked him, do you understand what that this book is talking about, you Ethiopian? Do you understand the book of Isaiah? It's talking about the Ethiopians. So when it talks about Rome, when it talks about Judah, it's actually talking about Africa, because the Hebrew Israelites identify as Jews. The Jews are everywhere in Africa. These people are actually the ones who have the Ark of the Covenant. So when you ask the Ethiopians, they say that they have it. When you ask the other ones in Zimbabwe, they say that they have it. So this is just the thing, that they know certain things that people don't know they know. So people who are telling you certain things are elements that distort your view of the Ethiopians, of everyone who is off this continent or off that continent. So having the right perspective is knowing reality and applying it to the facts. So when you see that this Ethiopian was reading the script, the scroll, the scriptures, and the Queen of Sheba is already engaged in terms of wisdom. She actually has these wise questions to ask. It makes you wonder why it is that don't see this side of this of Africa or of this continent in such a way that paints a perfect picture, or paints a tolerable picture, or even just a considerably close picture to what the reality of the people is, to what the reality of their way of life was, that they were people humble, people who were actually so smart that it's startling to even consider some of the things that they achieved with the means that they had, because the Ethiopians did, Nubians did. We can't even do it today with our modern technology. So the next time you read the Bible, read Isaiah and ask yourself if you truly about you.
Oh yeah, I ain't done yet. Hold on, I got something else for y'all. I'm about to do this quickly and start lining this, because I try the best I can, and it's like people be staying on the same things. What I notice is that when there are distractions in the community, because we all go to different places, everyone we believe it, or um, and that allows, hold on, guys, let me go back. That allows separated stones. Keep that in mind. So when it comes to it, what we have to do is make sure that we're understanding that we can't allow things to completely, hold on a second, let me close. We can't let our mind be divided by lies or, how can I say, distraction, right? I'm going to show you, hold on, guys, let me go to this one real quick, because this is a very important piece. I want to show you guys before I get into all this reading. I'm feeling like so much better, but I'm still a little, cloggy in my mind because of this mucus that has been developing, trying to stagnate me, but I won't allow it. Are ill naturally against these foreign things. When you're not doing everything you need to do. I've been getting junk and stuff the last couple of months, like birthdays, making cakes, and like, it is what it is. So what I'm going to do, guys, let me take this to the beginning for you. This is going to show you a little bit more um, about what we've been talking about recently when it comes to the 144, when it comes to the Christos, the Christ oil in your mind. Sharing it for me. So yeah, when it comes to particulars of what's relevant, so yeah, as soon as I stopped sharing it, it started playing. So let's see, maybe I can get it back. Hold on a second. And yeah, here we go. Let's get it. And everybody that's thinking like this is some kind of Pan-African type of shit is not. I really need y'all to stay focused and pay attention. All these names and people, talking about all this different stuff is very totally irrelevant to what I'm trying to show y'all. So keep that in mind. It has nothing to do with the African and the stuff like what's been going on with the different communities. Keep that in mind because I don't play these games with people and what they're doing. It has nothing to do with me. So stay focused on what we talking about. I see a few people that out here because they probably thinking, kind of that's what's
All right, we off to Lalabella. A few treasured places that I've seen over many years with church structures carved in underground hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago. So the man is going to go check out some areas, give y'all just a taste of Ethiopia, and hopefully y'all will enjoy this ride with me along this trip. So hold on. It's going to This is the church that gets all the attention, but it's the youngest one. But very interesting. We'll hear a little information. He said, "Don't get closer." You don't get no closer. All righty. Righty, my brother. Church that gets a lot of attention.
Yeah, here we are in the St. George Church, Beta Georgis. This is the finest church and gets all over attention. And this is the youngest church than the oldest, almost 20 years young than the oldest church. Beta Georgis has a proper cross-shaped forms from inside and from outside. It has designed cross shapes. All the churches downward as a cross shape pillar. One thing about the church is the church has getting increasing step by step to downwards. At the top it is very tiny roof, and at the basement has a wider basement. So it has like a pyramid shape basement, not to fall down in a part.
Okay.
So the way to go to these cliffs and trenches are round arched trenches and tunnels to go stair down and come to down to the access to the interior part of the church. Found up in the middle of the courtyard and the middle of the cliff. So the way how made those churches are uh, from up down. It's not like as basement to the upstairs. So up to down. So they dig out all four corners. So the church found in the middle. So they starting carving out from design and framed out from up to the bottom. And through the windows and through the doors, they took out the interior part and carved it properly. The completely different mading style from upside to down.
Hmm.
Not from basement to the upstairs. That makes them unique, those churches in the world.
All right. Very amazing. And how they can carve into hard rock structures thousands of years ago. You know, hard to find this in very few places you can find this around the world. But this is definitely amazing.
So as you can see, the church is more properly done. Everything, for example, the drainages. how the rains come out from the roof, it begins to exist down to the water, and from downwards there is a tunnel and goes to down to the trenches and goes to down to the valley. So there is no anything water which is kept in this courtyard. Rather than any outlet or exist for water for drainage, this church thinking inside the pool. So everything will prepare. So the church has windows. Upper layer windows has 12 windows with a ogival niche on top, and the lower windows has a square shaped window, but the window in the lower part has blind, has no any access. But they still keep those projection things. We call them monkey head. Architectural name, we call them those cubic things, monkey heads on the door. Those are imitated from the obelisk of Axum, which is the obelisk of was made 200 BC before the birth of Christ. And all things that existed here are originally found Ethiopian or original African architecture style found in these churches. And this church is symbolically carved out the Ark of Noah or Noah's sheep, and the sheep is completely was closed or sealed out to protect all the animals which is capital. And this church also has blind windows. That's why all covered to make similarity with the shape of Noah or Ark of Noah. But the upper window has opened, that to indicate Noah himself has strove to find out how the flood is gone all over, and the dove has bring back to him some olive leaves or olive trees leaves, and we are designed on the top of the window all over here the olive trees and the olive leaves to indicate that the flood is gone. And we have olive trees all over there at the present time with the big olive trees on over my head as well.
Those are olive trees.
Those are the olive trees.
Hot dog.
Yeah, we are done.
All right, guys. So check this out. Of course, it's starting to act stupid. Let me go back. This next video, I'm going to play about 4 minutes of it. It's a 13-minute video, but I want you guys to actually see what's on the inside of the church. I played the wrong one, I believe. So give me a second. Let me fast forward to it. I want y'all to see something very important. Let's go on and go down. That's not it. Hold on, guys. I'm with you. Hold on. Let's see. I need you guys to see this. Let me mute this real quick. Let me mute real quick, and then I can get to it. Let's see. This is y'all go get a whole good little bit of what I'm trying to show you this morning. These videos particularly have been showing. Yeah, this is it. I got it now. Let's get it. I played the wrong one, guys. I'm so sorry about that. That was a waste of a few minutes. Kind of on the same thing, but this is actually going down in the church, and this is what I need you guys to see. And I want you guys to see the passageway, the passage through. When we're thinking about the passage, you guys remember I told you about the The Tirthankara information is why I'm playing all this, whether you guys believe it or not. You're probably like, what would that have to do with that, Sister Soul? And you keep telling us this one thing, but shoot, unless y'all stay with it, y'all ain't gonna get it. And your girl trying to put you on, so make sure you just paying attention. I mean, it's all I can do. And these videos are awesome to show a bit of what I'm talking about. So it's crazy. So hold on a second. I forgot about these videos. I was going through an old playlist and bam. And what I tell y'all, I don't even have to look for nothing. This stuff will pop right up. I was like, oh, wow, I was going to do this other video this morning, but I'll have to do that after I show all this and talk about this a bit more because this was perfect. So let's get it. And they are going into the church that we showed.
Okay, so we got that's right.
I'm sorry, I gotta test this. Peace, Indigenous 56 Thanks for coming through, bro. Grand Rising. So the thing is, right? When I talk to you guys about the Tirthankara, when we speak about the information of the passageway, right? And it talks about the fourth passageway, which is actually the death and the rebirth, right? The death and the rebirth, the dying and the coming back, which is what they try to use when it comes to Christianity and Jesus, the Jesus Christ. When it comes to Jesus, they say he died and came back in 3 days, blah, blah, blah. So Jainism actually is part of the Tirthankara information. The Tirthankara information actually ties into Jewish information when it comes to being a Jew, an Israelite. The Israelite information ties into the Ethiopians. This particular church was the first Christian church. They didn't call it a Christian church. I believe it was called something else, but they're going to get into a little bit of that. When you're thinking about it or looking at the way of the passageway, we're thinking about the passageway is the formidable passageway on the waters. If y'all haven't been following the videos the last few months, I can't go over everything, but the waters that I've showed you guys, that is actually you. You're the body, you're the earth, you're the land, you're the spirit, you're the, like, every freaking thing, like, really. The passageway of crossing over the Christos, the Christ oil, the Christ energy that crosses over. That is the walking on the water of the body, right? And coming through the plasma lighting and giving it the energy to actually light up the passageway, to give the energy to fluctuate that aura, your Taurus field, which actually takes you over into the spirit aspect. The same thing happened. We talked about the DMT. And how in the DMT, it allows you to go and escape from your mind and actually time travel via certain dimensions in your realm sleep period, right? The same passage is the same total death. When a person dies, they actually get a more numerous amount of that DMT into their brain, and it actually is the soul arising or escaping the passageway of the physical body, walking on the waters and coming through. The light is actually protruding and coming through. Man, it'd be so hard to explain a lot of this. Much love, bro. You know what I'm saying? But y'all stay with me. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that. But he's going to show you this actual church was built on Jainism, the Jews of Ethiopia, actually knowing that concept, understanding the forward passageway of the spirit crossing over from the spirit, leaving the physical and going into the spirit, elevating. That is what the passageway is. That is the death and the rebirth. So when they built this church, it actually shows how it's going through the dark passageway. They're going to get into that. I'm going to just pause it and let you guys see this.
Piece of my ear. Heck out here.
We're talking about in this video, I'm going to show you how it ties
All this was carved. All this was carved.
You are the law of the land. We're going to get into that. This is all going into the law, going into the law of the land, the people, the person, the rock, the stone. Y'all better pay attention. Y'all might think this video is not important, but I'm trying to help you. Pay attention.
All out of this hard stone rock carved.
So here we are in the tunnel. We are heading to the darker tunnel. It's almost 30 meters, very dark. So we used to follow our hands without any light. And within a minute, we will reach the next church called Beta Mercurios or House of Saint Marcus. And that was a symbol of heaven. And before heaven, we used to go through the dark tunnel, which is symbolically hell. So we're going to hell now. So follow me.
You know, have light.
No light.
It was long tunnel of darkness they call hell. And going this way, we get to the light finally, which is heaven. That was an experience. I think that's a great analogy of heaven and hell. Yeah. We went through, you know how long that is?
30 meters.
30 meters. His shoulder with my right hand and feeling the ceiling, the top with my left. And 30 meters in complete darkness. You know, when it talks about the gnashing of teeth and separated, and ooh, that's a great analogy.
So this is the church. Now we are going to go to inside, and we're going to find very beautiful old things inside the churches.
All right. This is the old church here.
So this is Beta Mercurios.
Hey, hold on a second. Okay, you can get right behind here. Okay, so what we have here.
So this is a painting which is from the 13th century and is still found in the church of Lalibela. And at the top you can see the three trinities, the Holy the Trinity, the Father and the Son and the Holy Spirit.
This is the top ones.
Yeah, the top three ones.
Father, let's zoom in.
And under that the Son or Jesus Christ, Jesus Christos.
Which one?
Starting from here, this tells about
Right.
here
Okay.
life on the earth of duration in his 33 years.
So this is Jesus Christ.
And Jesus Christ,
Jesus Christ.
with his 12 apostles,
Okay.
perching all over the world. And those are the Roman soldiers. They were going to kill Jesus and their apostles by throwing their arrows, but the arrow could tap those down on the ground. All the arrows was bending and falling on the ground. And after that, Jesus was captured and
Come back here. Okay.
Jesus and captured and taken to the Roman Emperor.
Okay.
And he was asked to do what he was wrong by the Roman Emperor. He was doing that nothing. He just preaching that he tells the people that he's the son of God and he's a king. But the Roman Emperor couldn't accept him, and finally they crowned him in the nails and all his histories, and finally he became crucified there.
So these paintings are from the 13th century.
Yeah.
That's 1200 and something. These paintings were. Y'all can see now the afro. This depiction is how Christ was.
Yeah, everything is
Black skin.
Afro hairs as well.
Okay.
Not only him, also his apostles, also his followers.
Followers.
Faces. And the second one is on the wall, painted on the pillar. On the top of there, we can found the three wise men. We call them Balthazar, Melchior, and Gaspar.
Check it out. Now, you guys remember these videos be going so much, and y'all know I try to put different things in it, so I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember or recall. It may have been in the Tirthankara information, right? I told you guys about Mr. Simon Kimbango. If you remember about Simon Kimbango, he was a prophet, right? Now you heard them tell you about Paul. The story of Paul actually tells you the same story of Jesus. The healing, he came into everything that came from the Ethiopian Bible and the history is what they used. The new Bible that everyone uses, the King James Version, that Bible is used now as a different tool, because what happens is they take the information and the history and the truth, because of course they have no imaginations, right? And they use that and they try to change that information around. I'm going to show you guys a couple of things this morning, right? I got some stuff to do, but I'm trying to get this in here real quick. I hope I can finish this, and this is a part one only. They changed everything around, right? And by using our information, they can take that and transpire whatever lies they want to by creating these fictional plays that they put in this pyramid scheme to try and diffuse our truth and implant more lies by construction and, so on and so forth. Let me see. Cherubim, I believe it's cherubim. Let me just put this in here if I forget to tell you guys about that. So when it came to it, right, when it came to the story of, oh, perfect. Okay. Hold on, guys, I gotta answer this text real quick. This is like important. I'm trying. I told you I'm trying to get this other stuff for y'all. Y'all think I'm playing? We about to be on point, y'all. All this joking and shit is over. We about to get into our shit, and I'm about to show y'all some of it. Okay, hold on. Okay. Okay. People be trying to get to me to help me with this stuff and getting everything I need to handle. And there's so much, I appreciate when people can get to me. You know what I mean? Let me know what's going on, getting us into alignment. I'm getting paperwork, all that. Everybody that's in our private group, y'all gonna be getting something this week. Because we definitely got to get some stuff going. I got to get some paperwork to y'all and a few other things. So we about to get stuff right. But back to this. So when it comes to Simon Kimbango, right? He was a prophet as well, just like they told you about Paul in Ethiopia. So he actually brought down the French army by himself. They tried to attack him. He died. He came back to life. He was a Tirthankara. He basically, some people tried to say, oh, this is just a legend. Well, how's it a legend when it actually happened? When the army spoke of it, there are letters where the army spoke of how the chariots came from out of the sky and fire and literally slayed them. Like, this is like real true life, y'all. I keep telling y'all, we superheroes, superpowers. Everything that we got within us all comes from the ether. Our ancestors, all we got to do is tap into it, and they're going to come help us do what we need to do. Think it's a game. Y'all know? Yeah, listen. What you said, Trick Master. They got the Jesus Christ coin at the British Museum, too. Yeah, they tell on themselves. They let y'all know how they construct this stuff. You just have to study and read. Okay, everybody don't have time to study and read. Everybody don't think what to check out or what to look into, but that's fine. That's why we are coinciding together. That's why we build together, because whatever I get, I'm bringing to y'all. And y'all know y'all been more informed about certain things more recently when it comes to this. There's so much going on. Everything is important. All of the laws of the land are coming into effect, and we stand in the law. So because we stand into the law and we are light minded, the ones that are in the light mind and that are extending themselves into the truth and the light and the laws, you're able to stand in those laws. This is why everything has been coming in the last couple of months. Everything has just been just unfolding. Like, I ain't got to do nothing. It's like stair stepping. Y'all already know what it is. It's just been like great. So what we got to do is make sure we are doing what we need to do to have ourselves in the proper position, because what's going to happen is all going in a position. It can't nothing stop it. It's a wrap. Nothing can stop everything that's going on with us now, guys. Nothing can. Hold on. Let me. I want to see if I want to read something to y'all, because I need to reassure y'all, get y'all in the right mind, because I think sometimes, Lord, where is this even the right notebook? Hold on. Okay. All right. I don't want to waste time doing that, because y'all know I get a little distracted. Let's get into this, because I'm just going to start reading some real quick. I'm going to read y'all some on the Oriental Orthodox churches. Now, I keep telling y'all about the great nations, the two great nations. We read it ourselves. Our ancestors wrote about it. They told us that there were two great nations. We were doing everything, all the trading, all of this. We were, we had everything together. They were coinciding together in governance. There were certain senates with the councils. The elders of the tribes, they were the senate. They the ones that handled everything. They literally took all that from us, and they started using it against us, including the Bible. So the reason I brought that in, I want you guys to see where this Bible come from. There's a lot of confusion when people are saying, hey, throw the Bible out, this, and that. This is nothing against Big Phil, who says that, because I understand why he says that. But people got to understand, it's not just throw it out. I mean, it's not so much like, oh, just use it and pick it up and study it like all day. But you have to understand and understand that there's information in that's history. It may not be your particular history if you're not from Africa per se, but it pertains to one of the nations that are cousins to us. And what happened to them, the same thing that happened to us, the same transgression, the same playwrights, the same overruling and indoctrination of information, the same spell binding of the freaking mind, the same pyramid that has been built in our mind to have us falling up under these guidances and rulership of colonialism. So what's going on now? We are coming out of that. We're not coming, shit. We're out of that. Everybody that's in tune with me right now, everybody that I even deal with, other pages, whatever. Even when I get on the people pages that some of my stuff I don't really necessarily pump with at the time. They on that page. We know what it is. So because of this, we're coming out of that. There's a reason we're doing that, because this is our time period. That 400 years of slave shit is over. That's been over. In our minds, we have to see clarity. We have to understand. A lot of times people think, oh, history and learning history, what's that going to do for now? That shit. If you don't know about your history, you don't know where you're going. Trust and believe that. If you don't know your history, know the wealth of your history, know the internal, the spiritual, mental, and the physical wealth that we have, and be able to stand in it, it's going to constantly be taken from you, and you'll never be able to get it. But just so you guys know, you've been kind of saved a little bit. The Nasara, I'm sorry. Sunday be good. I got 2 calls coming in today on some information that I need for our private meetings. I'm doing like a whole lot, so I'm trying to handle this stuff, and it's a lot, but that's okay. I could do it. I got this, and y'all gonna have it too. The Nasara Gasara. I want you guys to check that out. I'm gonna put that out there for y'all, right? It's the Global Economic Recovery Act, right? I'm gonna put that out there. All right, let's start reading, because I don't want to keep talking, because I'm going to get this out the way in case one of my calls come in early. I need to call somebody else too. Let me write that down so I don't forget, because I'm damn sure I'll forget. Just remember, return the call this morning. As soon as I finish this live, I got you. Okay, so the Oriental Orthodox churches are a group of Eastern Christian churches adhering to the Miaphysite Christology, the Christology, right? Christology, which is translated literally from Greek as the study of Christ. It's a branch of theology that concerns Jesus, a different denomination that have different opinions on questions of whether Jesus was human, divine, or both. And as a Messiah, we just discussed that. We only got to question that because what? It was a divine. It wasn't a one particular person. There's like so many different Jesus Christ that like came. I just told you about Simon. You got to check out Mr. Simon Kimbanga's story. Look that up. You'll see how he defeated the army. You see how he died. There's even a story that when he was chopped up with a sword, he was chopped into like so many pieces, and literally the next day the man was walking. Y'all might think this is a game, but this stuff is real out here. Y'all just got to get into this information to really be able to disseminate and break down the lies so you can see the truth and know what's really going on. I'm gonna get into it again. And if you didn't get a chance to, you may not know exactly what I'm talking about because you didn't see that video on the 144. Look at the video on the 144. Who and what are the 144? It's you. I even give you all the information to show you how the 144 is a person and how they get their mind state. It's basically the same information that the Tirthankars lived by crossing over. The dying of the flesh, the death of the flesh takes a person higher into the spiritual element. So if you have the death of the flesh and the rebirth of the spirit, then you have the total guidance over what's going on. So just keep that in mind. With a total approximately of 60 million members worldwide. So this isn't some little small, thing. Keep that in mind. It's tried to be diminished by Christianity, things, this, and that. Mind you, I'm not pushing this either. Keep that in mind, guys. I'm going to try to pay attention because even when it comes to the Oriental Orthodox churches, it is still a church. So remember, this is still part of a religion. But I'm showing you guys where all of these are backing to, where they're coming from. Because what happens is these religions have truth in them. There's information and it all pertains to us, including, like I told you guys, certain things in the Bible. Solomon, what is it? The King of Solomon, King of Wisdom. He had so much information. This, and that. He married. No, they didn't marry him. Lying. He had a child. What's his name? Asami something. It's like an Arabian name. But their son, they praised him because the Queen of Sheba had all the wisdom. She was smarter. She was more intelligent. She preceded Solomon. Okay? Keep that in mind. Now, the Oriental Orthodox churches are broadly part of the Trinitarian Nicene Christian tradition. The original Nicene Creed was first adopted at the First Council of Nicaea in 325-381. It was amended in the First Council of Constantinople. The amended form is also referred to as the Nicene Creed or the Nicene Constantinople Creed for disambiguation. Now, keep in mind, I've talked to you guys about disambiguation, what that means. That's the story. That's a freaking lie. That lets you know it's theatrics involved. Keep that in mind. Okay, when you see disambiguation. All right, let's get into it. This shared by today's mainstream churches and represent one of its oldest branches, one of the oldest branches. As you see, the first Christian church was the Ethiopian church that we just showed you, the church that actually had the passageway showing, listen, just rewind the video if you didn't see it. It shows you that this all came from this particular, and mind you, we didn't get into the information. I don't want to show another video, but you can actually look up information on the first Ethiopian church, and it'll show you in the first Bible, the first Ethiopian Bible. The Bible is not the same as the Bible that they use now to control us. You heard him explain that. That was literally the church there, and they told you how it was used to manipulate the people's mind, making the paradox of the pyramid mind state, so on and so forth. So you have to keep this in mind. We're not talking about religion here. I'm showing you guys a pattern of where it comes from. Us, our people. Yeah, all the information. Queen of Sheba. When you're thinking about everything that came over from Asia Minor area, they pushed them over to try and say, oh, you guys are from Africa. They had the Hindu sign, the fake Indians come and push out the Asian Indians because they were Asian Indians. Oh gosh, I'm not getting to all that. Hold on a second. All right. As some of the oldest religious institutions in the world, the Oriental Orthodox churches have played a prominent role in the history and the culture of Armenia, Egypt. Listen now, they're older than these times. Okay. Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Sudan, and some parts of Western Asia and India, which is the fake Indians of the Buddhism that they took, and Jainism as well, going back to the Tirthankara. Also, all the Asian information from the Asian Indians, okay? An Eastern Christian body of Eutychophalos churches, its bishops are equal to virtue of episcopal ordination. And its doctrine can be summarized in that the churches recognize the validity of only the first three Eusaminical councils, okay? The Ecumenical Council, also called the General Council, is a meeting of bishops and other churches authorities to consider and rule on questions of Christian doctrine, administration, discipline, and other matters in who these entitled to vote or convoke from the whole world. Basically, they'll come together, with their judgments, so on and so forth. And I'm going to talk about that later this evening in another video. I won't talk too much about that. The Oriental Orthodox churches are composed of 6 Eutychophalos churches. The Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria. I'm going to talk about all these this evening, guys. Make sure you tune in at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, Sister Soul on the main radio. Or you guys know I'll be live here as well. And I'm going to get into the descriptions and information on all of these, but I'm going to just read through this. The Syriac Orthodox Church of Antioch, the Armenian Apostolic Church, the Malankara Orthodox, the Syrian Church, the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church, and the Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo Church. Collectively, they consider themselves to be the one holy Catholic and Apostolic Church that was founded by Jesus Christ in his Great Commission. Check this out. Here go that J. We know when we see J, the Jesus Christ, that it shows you that this is something that is just how can I say it? It's an actor or a play part, because the J isn't something that was actually back then. So we have to know that's put into, that's a part of sorcery, the witchcraft, the spell binding of the mind, using the jinn. The jinn having to do with the spirit. As you guys know, we talked about the Nis. What is the Nis? Go back and check the video out. The Nis is the spirit. It is the Christos spirit that overcomes a person. Like when you're at church, they're like, oh, I was overcome by the spirit. Yes, that's that energy. It's a frequency. It's a false GMO spirit. It's not your spirit. It's actually a false spirit that you're inviting in, because now you're accepting this Jesus Christ. This Jesus is not he who is you, us. It's not. So, and basically that's what's going on there. Okay, I'm gonna say that for later, but let's get into the rest of this. The Great Commission, in that its bishops are the successors of Christ's apostles. Most member churches, excuse me, I'm a little stuffed up, so I'm gonna try to speed through this. Most member churches are part of the World Council of Churches, right? And these three very different rites of passages among the churches and the Western influenced Armenian rites and the West Syriac rites. The Armenian rites is something that we're going through right now with some of these fake wars or whatever. We're not going to get into all that, but keep that in mind. The Syriac Church and the Malankara Church of India and the Alexandria Rite of the Copts, the Ethiopians and the Erythreans. The Oriental Orthodox churches are shared communion with the Imperial Roman Church before the Council of Chalcedon in 451 AD. Now, keeping in mind, the Roman Church, you have to remember, that's not like the Pope and things that we're saying today. Back then, these were the melanated rulers, okay? The kings and the queens that were, in co-science with the information of the Oriental, the Europe. Oh, I'm so bad with names, guys. I'm so sorry. But we heard it earlier. All those areas over there, that's like the Hindustan, the fake India, all these things now. Back then, they were all different. They were all under the one nation. And these were just different areas, and they were all under the rulership of the one nation over there. So keep that in mind. The majority of the I'm gonna go down here. The majority of the Oriental Orthodox Christians lived in Egypt and Ethiopia. Oriental, now look, you see this, right? The majority of the Oriental Orthodox, the Oriental Christians lived in Egypt and Ethiopia, Eritrea, India, Syria, Turkey, and Armenia. Remember, we were talking about this. I don't want to get into it, but there's this so-called fake war going on there, but there is a genocide and the killing of the people. All right, with smaller Syriatic communities living in Western Asia, small Syriatic communities living in Western Asia, Syriatic, they were part of the Oriental Orthodox Christians. Remember, keeping in mind, the Orientals going back to the Orient of Asia before it was changed over, shifted, moved, broken up into pieces, made different continents, all this other fake stuff. Part of the plan, part of the playwright, part of what was written into the fake history of everything, right? The Syriac community living in Western Asia, decreasing due to persecution. There are also many in other parts of the world formed through the diaspora conversation and missionary activities, okay? Now, hold on a second. I got to pull something else up. Yes, bro. At my bro in the building. What's up? Oh, let me drop the link in case the brother want to jump up with him, because see, wisdom be on it. This is my bro. We built recently, but not in a minute. Cause he be right there. Sometimes you gotta say he right there. If you want to, bro. I put no pressure on you. But if you want to jump up here and help me, bro, because you already know I be getting a little stuck when it comes with the names and the history. I'm just kind of talking about what I can say. And I didn't even see everybody in here. Peace, 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 y'all. I'm over there reading. Peace to my sis. I came up in here. Didi, Grandis sis. Suzanne in the building. What's going on? Juice done came in the building. Peace, peace, brother. Appreciate you coming through. And the brother Wisdom. Yes, yes. So not only Wisdom, anybody else that want to jump up, that want to, have any input on this, because I'm about to get into some other information here. So hold on a second. Let's do that. I want to switch this up. All right. And let's pull this one up right quick. I might even be able to get through this in less than 2 hours, y'all. Hold on, you good? No, I don't think so. Look, maybe 2.5 hours. Let's see. Let's see. Okay. Here we go. I got it. Okay. Give you guys a little bit of information on this real quick. Love you too, bro. Peace, peace, peace. You already know. Number love for y'all. Y'all got the best energy. Y'all always coming through with confirming info for me. Y'all keep me, uplifted with my positive chat. So yeah, let's do that. All right, so we're going to talk about Miaphysitism, right? Miaphysitism is the Christological. Actually, I'm going to read that to you. In Christianity, right? Christology, translated literally from Greek as the study of Christ, right? It is a branch of theology that concerns Christ. Its different denominations have different opinions on questions like whether Jesus was human, whether Jesus was divine, or both, and as a Messiah, what his role would be in the freeing of the mind. Okay, so Christological doctrine upheld by the Oriental Orthodox churches, which include the Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo. I cannot pronounce this right. I should go to Google and try to have them show me, because I cannot ever get this out. The Eritrean Orthodox Tewahedo. Tewahedo, I believe that's it. A Tewahedo. Maybe the H is silent. I'm not sure. Church, the Coptic Orthodox Church of Alexandria, the Syriac Orthodox Church. I told you guys we're going to kind of go over that later in that part 2 that I got for you guys lined up. When it talks to, when it comes to certain things, we're going to be sharing when it comes to Myanmar, which is the land of the Golden Temple and some other areas that are, kind of pertaining to that. I think it's pretty important. The hold that Jesus, right, the incarnate word, in Christian theology, the incarnate is the belief that Jesus Christ, the second person of the Trinity, also known as God, the Son of the Logos, was made flesh by being conceived in the womb of a woman, which we know. Okay, we don't get into that. The word. Hold on. Okay, go on. In Christianity, the Logos is a name or a title of Jesus Christ. So it's the logo, just like now you have a logo for your title of your business, so on and so forth. That's what the logo is, the title of Jesus Christ, seen as the pre-existent second person of the Trinity. So in the Dewey Rhymes, King James, New International, and other versions of the Bible, the first verse of the Gospel of John reads, okay, I'm getting to it. Hold on. I'm getting stuck going somewhere else. Is very divine and fully human in one nature, physis, right? Rather than using the wording established at the Council of Chalcedon 451, we're going to get into that later as well, that Jesus is one person in Greek, in the hypostasis is two natures in Greek, physis, a divine nature and a human nature. So this is obviously our concept. That's in any or most of the religions, While historically a major point of controversy within Christianity, several modern declarations by both Chalcedon and the Miaphysite churches state that the difference between the two Christological formations is, I think I'm going to put you guys some pictures up, is essentially somatic and does not reflect any significant difference in belief about the nature of Christ. So the terminology, the word Miaphysite derives from the ancient Greek Maya one, which is one. Miaphysite means one, plus physis, which is nature, and substance, one substance. Now, then we just talked about that. Remember, I told you you're going to have to go back. I believe it's in the Tadaka as well, and also in this. What is this? You guys go back and check that out. And this is that substance, which is actually a technical frequency and energy wave that can be tapped into, a frequency that can be tapped into via the ether. Also you, because you're the ether, right? So with that, the Christ or the Christos, nis is sin is nis. The terminology of everything we talked about in that video, showing you the dog, God, dog, the mirror of, these different things, where there's like the blending, I'll say. This is where the Jainism and Jinn, thinking about Jainism, the Jinn. So you're taking Jainism and the concepts and all of the information that leads you to the affordable passageway of ascending past the physical incarnate from that space into the spiritual, which is the death and the rebirth, going back into the spiritual. That is the rebirth. This is what they say happened with Christ, right? But this is what you could do as well. Right? Go back and look at the video again on the 144. Who and what are the 144s? It shows you, because you have the Christ within you, the Christ that comes up, and that is the energy that rises from your spine giving you that serpent energy, the heating up, the atomic energy. That actually they've even used these for the Hiroshima bomb. You know that the melanin, they actually use that for that bomb. The atomic energy in that, the black matter. Check that out. That same black matter is in the pit of your spine. It's in the pit of your spine. It's in your if they tell you your chakras. So as your chakras align and you're getting that substance, the natural, not nature, natural substance, that natural substance that comes into the spine, bring you the elevation to the 144, going through each chakra that has a number. That number adds up to the 144 times 10,000. Y'all gotta watch that video if you didn't watch it. That's all I'm gonna tell you. Teaching is based on Cyril of Alexander. A formula, blah, 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 blah. Meaning one physics, da, da, da. Okay, I was down here. I'm trying to find out where I was, y'all. Hold on a second. Okay. And defined that there was a Jesus. There was a Jesus. Now, as you guys know, that's not true. We just heard that in the first original, the first original Ethiopian Bible and the church, the under the ground built in the ground. It was in the ground, showing you the passageway from hell. Going through that passageway was actually the hell, right? He showed y'all and told y'all how that passageway. They even used that against us, telling you so you would get further away from that. Wouldn't even know that truth. When they talk, oh, the devil in hell, you're gonna die, you're gonna go to hell. That's a lie. Come on now. That they took all that from knowing what happened when they went through the church and they went through that passageway, which was affordable passageway, going from the death to the life. Yo, it's crazy. They keep playing with y'all, but I ain't gonna let them. I'm keeping my people on. Pick this game. Jesus, one person, one hypostasis, person, but two, physis, natures. It is disputed whether Cyril used the physis in that sense. Okay. Others interpret the Miaphysitic term physis in line with its use by the Council of Chalcedon and speak of metaphysicism as monophysicism. Listen, they use Maya. They use Maya-physitism as monophysicism. Let's, I want you guys to. Monophysicism or monophysicism is a Christological term. It's a Christological. So when you hear monophysitism, they're talking about something that has to do with the Christological term. This is all derived from the Greek. It is defined as a doctrine that in the person of the incarnate world, there was only one nature, the divine. Okay, check this out. I'm going to say this one more time, just to make sure y'all got it, because I want to make sure. Monophysitism is a Christological term. A Christological term, it's a term that's derived from the Greek. It's defined as a doctrine that a person of the incarnate world, there was only one nature, the divine. And that is what? That is us. That is the ether. That is the energy. That is the pure light energy. That's the divine. That's the Christos spirit, right? So if you go back and you see that video on this, I don't want to go too much into it. It shows you that the sin and the this is the Christ spirit that overcomes you. It's a Christos energy that they tap into when it comes to the mother energy, basically the energy, the Madonna energy. Let me just keep going. A word used in all forms of denial of the Chalcedon doctrine. However, they add that Miaphysitism is the more accurate term for the position held by the Syriac, Coptic, and Armenian churches. The Second Council of Constantinople in 553. I'm sorry, guys. Hold on. I gotta respond to this real quick. I'm trying to stay focused on three things at one time, and it's sometimes hard. Give me 1 second. Okay. All right. So, thanks. I hate when I get lost in my thought because I was about to say something that just totally threw me off. God dang it. It'll come back. The Second Church of Constantinople, the Ecumenical Council that followed that the Chalcedon accepted Cyrus' phrases but warned against misinterpreting it. They warned against misinterpreting it. Like they, They told them stop, but they was gonna do it anyway. Because why? They want to use that info against you. They want to take everything that's like us, and it's just crazy. Okay, the broad term diophysitism in Christian theology, diophysitism is the Christological position that two natures, divine and human, exist in the person of Jesus Christ, in contrast with monophysitism and myophysitism, right? It covers not only the Chalcedian teaching, but also Nestorianism. I'm not familiar with that. Let me read it real quick. Nestorianism is a polysemic term used in Christian theology and church history as a designation for several mutually related but doctrinarily distinctive sets of teaching. The first meaning of the term is related to the original teachings of Christian theology, Nestorius, who promoted a specific doctrine. Interpreted as meaning that Jesus Christ not only of two natures, but is in fact two centers of attribution and thus two persons. So Jesus isn't just the one person, it's two persons. A view condemned by the Council of Chalcedon. So they had to go and change that because they were, kind of misinterpreting. Because this goes to show you, they weren't connected in their spirit, right? They didn't have discernment. They couldn't read the true information and just like break it down and start getting everything into it. You know what I'm saying? So that was part of the problem. Okay, let's get to it. Hold on, guys. This doctrine was rejected, obviously, teaching instead that the incarnate Christ has one nature, but one that is still of both a divine character and a human character and retains all the characteristics of both, with no mingling, no confusion, the pouring together, or the change of either nature. So now this takes you outside of you, right? When you read that, you interpret that, or you have to understand it. That means that you're outside of that self in the physical, because it says that it's the divine character and the human character, and it retains all the characteristics of both with no mingling. So it's giving a confusion when it's pouring together, or change of either nature. It's not the change of either nature. It's telling you that it's the one and the same. It's, all in the same, which isn't true. That's a lie. The true nature of a person is the soul, the inner, right? The spirit, the energy, the inner being, which is you, the self. C, self is seeing, L, form. Self is the seeing of L, forming. That is the formidable passageway. Forming, formidable passageway to the other side, transcending the physical and actually exceeding that to go to the spiritual. That is the death and the rebirth. So if you combine the two, if you combine the Christ, which is of an outside spirit, outside force, another nature, then that's pouring that outside nature of something else, another spirit, which is the sin, the ness, the physical, the carnate part, pouring that in and mingling together of the spirit of yourself, so that you're not able to separate yourself from the physical, and you stay in the physical vessel, and the spiritual vessel isn't able to ascend or actually bypass that. Are you guys following me? Guys following me? My sis says she following me. Thanks, sis. I just want to make sure I don't see too many comments, and I want to make sure that you guys are following, because I know I'll be talking in my head. I'm thinking 3 or 4 different things, and I want to make sure that y'all getting it. Peace, brother. What's going on with you? So let's get it. So to avoid being confused with that, the Eutychians, the Chians, the Eutychians, you see that? Chians, part of Asian. Oriental Orthodox churches rejected the label monophysite, and the Coptic Metropolitan Bishop of Damiette declared it a misnomer to call them monophysites, for they always confessed to continue. Hold on, one second. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. They always confess the continuity of existence of the two natures in the one incarnate nature of the Word of God. None of the natures cease to exist because of the union of the term, the mia physis, denoting the incarnate nature is completely different from the term monophysics. We just read that. The Oriental Orthodox do not believe in the single nature of Jesus Christ, but rather a united divine human nature. A united divine. Let's read that again. The Oriental Orthodox do not believe in the single nature of Jesus Christ, but rather a united divine human nature. Why is that? Interesting. The agreed statement by the Anglican Oriental Orthodox International Commission in 2014 said that the term monophysite, which has been falsely used to describe the Christology of the Oriental Orthodox churches, is both misleading and offensive, as it implies Eutychianism, Anglicans, together with the wider Oecumene, use the accurate term Miaphysite to refer to the Cyrilline teachings of the family of Oriental Orthodox churches, and furthermore call each of these churches by their official title of Oriental Orthodox. The teaching of this family confesses not a single nature, but one incarnate, united divine human nature of the Word of God. To say a single nature would be to imply that the human nature was absorbed in his divinity and was taught by Eutyches. I don't even know what that is. I wish they had the blue on that so I could read that. Figure that part out. What is a Eutyches? Let me look it up real quick because now I need to know. I think that was one of the okay. So the conflict oh, I was with the text and I want to look the word up, guys. Oh, I had to respond to the text. Y'all be all over the place. Y'all gotta bear with me. Your girl got too much going on. Let's see. Okay, it's just messing me up, guys. I'm about to see. I want to make sure what this is. Hopefully, they spell it for me. They probably wanted to like the Buddhists or something. Okay, no, it's not pronouncing it. Okay, it said Eutyches was presbyter and an archimandrite. What the heck is that? Oh Lord, they're gonna have me looking up everything today because I'm not even familiar with that. At Constantinople, he first came. Oh, that was someone's name. He first came to notice in 431 at the First Council of Ephesus. Oh, okay, so okay, I'm going to get into that later. Okay, guys, we'll have to do that when later on. The live that I changed from this one will be the part 2. So yeah, we'll get into that later. So I just want to verify that wasn't something I was omitting. So the conflict over terminology was, to some extent, a conflict between two renowned theological schools: the Catechetical School of Alexandria, which was focused on the divinity of Christ as the Logos or Word of God. They actually have something else for logos. Hold on, we did read that. Okay, just want to verify. The Word of God, and thereby risk leaving his real humanity out of the proper consideration. The stress of the school of Antioch was on the humanity of Jesus as the historical figure. Jesus as a historical figure. Okay. To the theological rivalry between the two schools was added a certain political competitiveness between on the one hand, Alexandria, and on the other, the Antioch and the Constantinople. The condemnation of Nestorius at the Council of Ephesus, we're going to read that later as well, in 431 was a victory of the Alexandria school of the church, but its acceptance required a promise, the formation of reunion that was entered into by Cyril of Alexander and John of Antioch. 2 years later, Cyril died in 444 under his successor Dioscarsus, one of Alexandria, a Constantinople-based archimandrite called Eutyches, which we just spoke about, whose answer to questions put him, my mouth's dry, hold on. It was just heretical by the Bishop Flavian of Constantinople. In turn, they accused Flavian of heresy. The emperor convoked the council and entrusted its presidency to Dioscorus. This second council of Ephesus, we're going to read about that later, held in 449, rehabilitated Eutyches and condemned and deposed Flavian and some other bishops. These appealed to the Pope Leo I, which we know about Pope Leo, who calling their assembly not a concilium, but a latrocinium, a proper council rather than a proper council, declared in null and void. The Miaphysitic churches still recognize it as valid, but outside their ranks, it is not reckoned as an ecumenical council. Ecumenical council. All right, so hold on one second. Let's get to it. I guess to do one more for y'all. I don't want to get too much into the later information, but I definitely want to do this. I'm gonna show you guys. Let me make sure I had it pulled up real quick. I got so many windows open, y'all, because I can't. If not, I'm gonna be able to find what I'm looking for later. So give me 1 second. Cancel that. Go to the pictures. Let's see if I can show you guys. I'm gonna show you guys a couple things because if I keep yeah, I'm at almost 2 hours. I don't want to get into this third thing. Hold on, guys. I'm gonna get these pictures out for y'all real quick. Oh, 10-4. Appreciate you, bro. Let me put it out there again. It's up there. Oh, it's hidden, actually. I'll be having it hidden. No, here you go, bro. That's me. That's your girl. Appreciate you. Yes, it is deep, man. And it says, I'm like, when I say I'm on the surface, it's just trying to like make it not sound so complicated. That's why I try to do like a little video, a little bit of reading. Appreciate you, bro. A little bit of reading, so on and so forth, because then you guys can kind of see different aspects. It doesn't get so boring, and you can take the information in, and it's not so overwhelming. But it's a lot more that happens. When it comes to this stuff, I just need people to disseminate these lies and the breakdowns. And a lot of these things I show, people may think, well, why is she showing this or showing that? You just have to stay focused. Y'all know once I'll show y'all something, then I'll come back to something else, and you'll be like, oh, now I get it because you saw something else. Like I can't break down everything that I have in my mind to like the smallest aspect and deliver it so easy. So I have to do like bits and pieces. This is why I try to do as many videos as I can, one here, one there. So at least things are going in the proper perspective. Okay. So yeah, let's do a little bit more of this, and then I'm gonna read. Get the pictures pulled up for you guys. I want to say. Okay, I want to get to. Follow down. Okay, I'll read this right quick. Following them, the Holy Fathers, we all unanimously teach that our Lord Jesus Christ is to us one and the same Son, and self-same perfect in Godhead, the self-same perfect in manhood, truly God and truly man, right? Truly man, the self-same of a rational soul and body, co-essential with the Father according to the Godhead, the self-same, the co-essential with us according to the manhood, like us in all things, sin apart, sin, before the ages begotten of the Son as the Godhead, but in the last days the self same, the Godhead, the throne, your kingdom. For us and for our salvation, born of Mary, the Virgin. That's what they said, born of Mary, the Virgin. We were born of not necessarily a virgin, but we were born of our mothers as well. Theotokos as to the manhood, one of the same Christ, Son, Lord, only begotten, acknowledged in two natures, unconfused. We need to be unconfused. If it's confused, why would it be confusion if it's truth? Why would there be any confusion in truth? Two natures, right? We are unconfusedly, unchangeably, indivisibly, inseparably, the difference of the natures being in no way removed because of the union. And that's what the Christ does. The Christ puts you the union. There is no way to remove yourself. You can't remove yourself from the physical and the spirit, because you look at Christ as being the example, the only example of that. Christ is he's just the Father and Son. He's with God, and he's the only one that can do it. No. You can go right through the passageway yourself. You can ascend yourself. You can be one of the 144 just by spiritually inclining yourself and aligning yourself and going through listen, y'all know what it is. But rather the properties of each neighbor being preserved and both concurring into one person in one hypothesis. Not as though he was parted or divided into two persons, right? But he is, right? Because the Jesus Christ is parted and deciphered into two persons. Because once it was into the womb, it separated itself from the womb and came and birthed into the world through Mary's womb. That was the second person. And then the death and the life of Jesus is what we hear about, the story of his death and rebirth. But it all goes back to the same thing. It's all the Tetrachora. It's telling you that it's one person, but it's the two persons, divided into two persons, the spirit and the flesh. So you are the spirit and flesh. And to become one with oneself, you have to be able to bypass that physical to be the spirit, right? That's the only way you could be one, the spirit, being one in the spirit, because the spirit is all things. But one and the self same Son of the one begotten God, Word, Lord, Jesus Christ, even as from the beginning the prophets have taught concerning him, and as the Lord Jesus Christ himself has taught us, and the symbol of the Father has handed us now. And as we know, it's an example. It's telling you, letting you know about the Christos, the Christo, born of the Mary, the Virgin. Right, sis, it's all a different version, right? Mary the Virgin. Sis always gets some quick downloads. Yes, born of the Virgin. Each womb is different, right? When you come from your mama's womb, I ain't come from your mama's womb. Somebody else came from a different womb. My brother and sister may have came from my mama's womb, but they still not me. I'm still one. I just came through the flesh. I came through the flesh of my mom. I am of my mom, but I'm not my mom. I'm like, myself. I ain't gonna get into that. So yeah, when we think about that, hold on, guys. I want to show you guys something real quick. Let me get these pulled up real quick. Maybe if you guys see this, you'll get a understanding. Let me see. A couple of pics I want to show you. The four corners. Here we go. Window. Okay, this one. There we go. Perfect. Okay. Now, if you guys can see this, let me get this on. I want you to get a good look at this picture. This shows. This is a photographic and text. This is America and the world. You see America here. Wait, hold on. Okay, there we go. This is America, right? And this is the spirits. They're showing you the four corners. Mary, Jesus. Listen. on, let me move this over here because I just gotta have my people get it with me. Okay, so this is America, right? And if you guys see right here, what does this say? It says Mary, Mary. Now, y'all see what sis put right here? Born of Mary the Virgin. She must have been in my head. I'm telling you, sis be in my head sometimes. She was in my head, born of the Virgin Mary. So we look at this map and it's showing us the world in combination. I gotta play y'all something real quick because I gotta do something in a minute. So oh no. Let me do this first. I'll get to it in a minute. Okay, so Mary. So born of Mary, Christ, born of the Virgin Mary. I want to try and break this to y'all real easy. Let me see what's the best way to make it make sense. Not real easy, duh. Y'all easy. Y'all smart and intelligent. Y'all gonna get it. But I'm just trying to think of the best way I want to say it. So, Mary. Now, we talked about the Nis. I talked to you guys about Nis. We know that it's a spirit, it's an energy, right? Okay, so we're thinking about the Christ energy, everything we just went over and talked about. So we look at this map. You see where it says Mary at the bottom here? This is Mary. They show the winds, which is the energy, the spirit, the Christ spirit. They show you on this map. I'm going to show you again. Hold on. Let me go all over it. I want y'all to see the whole thing. That's just talking about Mary. Look, Mary dies. Longitude. They show the longitude, the latitude. Look. Here's America. Here's Africa. Tartaria. Then we just go over that. Tartaria, that's part of what? The Asian, Oriental, Asian, the Ethiopian, Tartaria, Asia, Tartaria, Asia, part of the Ethiopian. Look at this. Okay, look, I'm showing y'all. Hella, Pontius, hell. Coming over. This is the wind. Y'all see this, right? I want y'all to see. Look, this is blowing. You see, they're showing specifically. I want you guys to see the intricacy of some of this stuff because I can't like tell y'all everything. Y'all got to use your own mind with some of this stuff. Y'all, I really hope some of y'all spirits be like coinciding with some of this information because there's like a lot. Okay, so y'all see this. Look, this is showing you. Look, these elements. These are elements. Y'all see this. The faces of the sun. There were 5 suns before. He's got a couple of faces over here in his breath too. They all do. Coming to cool down the sun with the false energy of fake, like the sun is you, the energy. Check this out. I want y'all I don't be knowing if people be knowing where I'm at or what, but I be hoping it don't sound too crazy. Look, the lips wants. I wish I could read this. Like, I really want to know what it's saying, but my spirit just telling me what they talking about, y'all. And can anybody in the chat know what's up? Y'all seeing this? Occupying. Aki. Dens. Aki den. Elvis dens. I wish I could read this. But look, this is a north. North honest. It says north honest. It says north honest. Look, y'all see it. Look at these. Y'all see these beings. Hold on, what y'all see? They all blowing around through the atmosphere. Indi Orientalis pars. Indi Orientalis. Look, this is the area over there. India. They try to say that was a part of all of that. Look, it's right here. You see it right here. Here go America, right? Look, check it out. I'm zooming in for y'all again. I'm telling y'all. Here we go again. You see it. Orientalis pars. So you see, and that's over here. The Orient is over here, though, right? I thought they said this was the Orient, the Asian Oriental, but it's over here as well, right? Okay. Yeah. I see it. 4 corners of the earth. Blocking you in. This is a real map. This is what the earth actually looks like, guys. They keep trying to tell y'all globe. They keep trying to tell y'all, it's flat. They don't know what they're talking about. Shit. It goes out. This is space. This is space and time. This is the space. There's no outer space. There's just the space going over. This is like, One of the older maps. I'm not gonna get into that. Okay, we talked about this is one of the Jainism. This shows you that we talked about the wheel. We talked about how the energy and the spirit. Listen, all these things all coincide together. I wish I was good with compilating these pictures, guys, so I can like kind of compare some of the stuff that I talk about in the other videos. But you guys know when it comes to the Tirthankara and all this, we talked about this, the affordable passageway, the death, going into the light, into going back up. I mean, like that's the death and the rebirth. Affordable passageway. Affordable passageway. That's the Christos, the Christ walking on the water. Same thing. And that map, the world map shows that. It shows you and it's talking about the spiritual realm. It's talking about going to the different realms, the elevation of the spirit from the physical, going into the other realms. We gotta get ready to get out of here, y'all, because I'm kind of rushing through this, but I just wanted y'all to see some of these pictures to even confirm some of the stuff we're talking about. This is the same thing, going into the Sanskrit, Jainism, the Oriental second land of the great nation of the Tirthankaras, and their information. Shows the same thing. See? Different frequencies, different levels, different energies, different realms. Yeah, I think we had 2 hours and 5 minutes. I gotta do a couple of things this morning. I got to get out of here, but right, north, south, east, and west winds, bro. But they're the manipulated winds. Did you see that? It showed you that was north. Let me go back to it. Hold on. It said the northern was the one up in the left corner. Hold on. See? This one right here. See? It says the quest north Hasset. So these are the north winds, but it's more than 4, bro. It couldn't just be saying the north winds. It's more than 4. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's like multiple of them, bro. And then they have these. Look, I don't even. This picture here needs like a whole live on it. I ain't even lie. I don't have time to get into all of this because we have to. I'm just trying to show you guys the spirit, the energy, the Nis spirit, the sin, the Nis, the Christos, the Christ energy. That's kind of what I'm trying to show you guys here. Showing you how that wind, the energy, it was the controlling force. But yeah, look, see, they battling. They got swords, you know. They ride. These are the gods, and you know there's like battles of certain things going on. So it's a lot going on in this pic. It's not just talking about the wind stuff, bro. Just know that. So yeah, let me stop sharing that. So yeah, I'm glad I was able to get this into about 2 hours, guys. I really got some things to do, but it has been a pleasure being able to get through some of this information with you guys. And make sure you tuned in tonight at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. And I'm going to go a little more in depth and some clarification with part 2 and finishing up going more to script. If you guys haven't seen the 144 video, please go watch it. If you haven't seen the video on this, please go watch it. If you haven't seen the videos on the Tirthankaras, please go watch them. There's part 1, 2, and 3. Part 1 was kind of botched up. Y'all know I was having some issues on main radio. So 2 and 3 are actually kind of like 1 and 2. I kind of, made sure the information was good because it wasn't so clear. So watch the information on the Tirthankara. Make sure you watch the information on NIS, the NIS video, NIS, SIN, NIS. And make sure you watch, which other one I think would be the one on who and what are the 144. It gives like all the information. I literally took my time to break everything down. Sometimes I'm not able to get my thoughts together because I'm like all over the place with everything I want to say. But I really broke that down in the who are the 1,044. So if you guys can watch that, make sure you do, and a lot more of this will make sense. So peace, love, blessings to everybody. My chat, you guys are everything, and till later, 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Make sure you're tuning in to the Sister Soul Talk About It segment on the main.